Thank you, Mr. Chairman, and thank you for having this hearing on this profoundly important topic. I've been in and out, and I apologize. I haven't heard all the testimony, but I'm very interested in the securities issues, some of them raised by Senator Markey so far as automobiles are concerned, and I feel those same potential security threats exist with regard to a wide variety of devices and appliances that Americans use every day. And we've heard a lot about the coming wave of connected devices. The FTC report estimates that there will be 25 billion connected devices by the end of the year and 50 billion by the end of 2020, and each of them presents a potential attack surface for hackers and thieves. Essentially, as every one of us brings a new device into our home, we create a vulnerability to those hackers and thieves to use portals that cyber criminals can attempt to access for very sensitive and confidential information. So let me begin by asking Mr. Bookman, right now, the majority of devices have no encryption. 70% of these devices have no encryption on communications. The average is, I think, 60% have insecure web interfaces and 60% have insecure software. What is the answer? Senator Markey very eloquently indicated that if we can do the algorithms that send messages around the world, we can have algorithms that protect us, and it's not just automobiles, but every one of these devices. Is encryption the answer? What would you advise? And I'll open the same question to the other.
Yeah, it's a really important question. It's a hard question. I think what Congress can do is I think they can pass an affirmative data security requirement law, right? Already the Federal Trade Commission thinks they can enforce reasonable security requirements on companies under Section 5. That authority is being attacked in court by a few companies. Wyndham Hotels is challenging the FTC when they say, FTC says unfairness law requires you to use reasonable security. Wyndham Hotels says no, it actually doesn't. So having that written down in law, I think, would be useful. I think having a process requirement where companies that collect this sort of information should have to think about it in advance, right? I think institutions and people in general are really bad at considering the very small chance of a very bad thing happening, right? So having a process in place to think about that, I think would be really good, because right now security is often thought of as a cost. I'm not going to get immediate profit from it, but when it goes bad, it goes really bad. I also think we probably need better breach notification laws. We have, 47 states have it covering financial information. I think we should expand those laws to include online accounts, right? I mean, like things that were compromised in the iCloud incident, in the Sony incident. This is personal information that people care a lot about, right? Internet of Things devices reveal really sensitive stuff about us. And if my smart TV there has a camera and the microphone on, and if that my Samsung account is compromised, I want to know about it, right? Because there are websites you can go to now where you can find thousands and thousands, like 100,000 different webcams you can find online. Just watch the live feed, right? And I think if the company knows that they get compromised, they have an obligation to tell you about it.
And notification is kind of a basic minimum common denominator of what all of us should favor. If somebody knows about a breach, there ought to be notification to the person who is threatened by it.
Absolutely, but I think that level of notification, like if your email account gets breached, is only required. I think notification is only required in 2 states today: Florida and California.
And imposing the costs of a breach on the one responsible, the one who can do something about it, also seems pretty basic.
Yeah, absolutely. I think that's been an incredibly important thing for credit card fraud, right? When it's not the consumers who bear the cost of that. It's actually split between the merchants and the banks. And I think because of that, they have really strong incentives to get security right.
Any of the other members of the panel?
Senator, briefly on the concerns you've raised about security and those raised by Senator Markey as well, let's keep in mind a couple of general things. First and foremost, no consumer is going to want to buy or use a device, especially a car, that is fundamentally insecure. Second of all, if firms do sell these sorts of devices that are fundamentally insecure to the public, class action lawsuits will fly and state AGs will be very active, as you know. Third,
Well,
firms
they have to have a law on which to sue. I
they
know
have
from
consumer
my
protection
experience
laws
as
already
state
on
AG.
these things, and of course, there are other general torts.
And that goes back to Mr. Bookman's point about establishing some legal standard that provides a cause of action.
But firms are already being sued under existing causes of action, and firms understand that they're never going to make any money if they sell devices that are fundamentally insecure and don't protect the
If
privacy.
consumers know, number one, and number two, if they can make informed decisions among products that actually offer this kind of protection. The fact that protection is offered as one of the features of a device or automobile or appliance may not be decisive for a consumer who's looking at a bunch of other features and colors and attractions that may be part of the vehicle. Any other members of the panel? Thank you.